Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all my Agent's Runick Spright Yugioh deck profile for August 2023. This is one of the crazy ideas for a deck combo that I've been testing out. I actually am quite liking the playstyle that the Runick and Spright variants have, combined with the Agent setup, just with the easy special summon of cards like the Agent of Earth, the search power it has to then search out the Agent of Neptune to continue your special summon of your level 2 monsters, helps with the extended plays you can do with the Runick engine and also the Spright engine altogether, mixed in with these cards, and then being able to get out some of your bigger boss monsters like Master Flare Hyperion, and then also some of the other stronger extra deck monsters that both the Runick and Spright decks could summon out. I'm sure that there are going to be cards from this deck that will be hit on the following ban list for both Runick and Spright, so I wanted to get the list out as soon as I could, and then hopefully update the list as well once we have some changed numbers for some of the Runick and Spright cards. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profiles. We'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. For the Agent monsters, we're running 3 copies of the Agent of Mystery Earth. When it's normal summon, you can add 1 the Agent monster from your deck to your hand, except for the Agent Mystery of Earth. And or the Sanctuary of Sky is on the field, you can add 1 Master Hyperion from your deck to your hand instead. So the main search you get with this card is your Agent of Life Neptune, just because this card can be a discard to special summon a Agent monster from your hand or graveyard, or if Sanctuary of the Sky is on the field, you can special summon a Hyperion monster, which we are also running in the deck as well. But Earth just gives you search power, and then being a level 2 monster, it works well with the Spright engine that we run, but it can also be comboed with the Runick cards as well to then go into our Spright cards like the other cards we run. I also run 3 copies of the Agent of Life Neptune. You can discard this card to special summon 1 the Agent monster from your hand or graveyard, except for the Agent of Life Neptune, or if the Sanctuary of the Sky is on the field, you can special summon the Hyperion monster instead. Neither player can tribute a monster summon with this effect for the rest of this turn until the end of your opponent's turn. And if this card is banished, you can add 1 Sanctuary in the Sky from your deck to your hand. So you have search power off of this card as well, which works well with the Hyperion monster. But then you also have the summon back of cards like Earth, which you will use for some of your other extra deck resources. And you only get the search effect of Earth when it is normal summoned, but still, it's just another resource you can easily get back onto the field. And then I also run 3 copies of the Agent of Creation Venus. Now, what I like about this card is even as a potential normal summon, just being able to pay 500 life points and special summon out a Mystical Shine Ball onto the field can then give you access to a bunch of level 2 monsters, which once you summon out your Venus onto the field, you really won't be as restricted as much, because then you can summon out the Shine Balls and then go into your Gigantic Spright and then finish off your other plays with having the level 3 monster being already played on the field, since Gigantic Spright just says for the remainder of the turn, monsters that are level or rank 2 or link 2 or higher cannot be summoned onto the field. And then additionally, the 3 copies of Mystical Shine Ball to summon off of the Creation Venus. I thought of running the evil counterpart to recycle the Shine Balls as well. If you wanted to do so, you could try running 2 Venus instead of the 3, but I like the 3 just for the option to open up this card in your hand as well. And then also the 1 copy of the Majesty Hyperion. You can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard by banishing 1 the Agent monster from your hand, field, or graveyard. So by banishing Neptune, you get your search for the Sanctuary in the Sky. And then you can only special summon this card once per turn this way. It's not restricted from being special summoned from the graveyard, so we do have some other cards to do so as well, including the option for the Neptune summon for the discard as well. Don't forget that. And any battle damage you take from battles involving your fairy monsters is also inflicted to your opponent, and once per turn, you can banish 1 fairy monster from your hand or graveyard to target 1 card in either graveyard and banish it. So this can take away from your opponent as well, since it is just a banish of your fairy monster from your hand or graveyard. And if Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field or graveyard, you can use this effect up to twice per turn, more resource taking from your opponent as well. For the Spright engine, I run the 3 copies of Spright Blue. Just if you control a level 2 monster, you can special summon this card, then search out a Spright monster from your deck to your hand, except for Spright Spright Blue. So just by having your Earth on the field, or even just one of your Mystical Shine Balls, you can summon this card out on the field and then extend more into your monster search, which we are also running the 2 Spright Jet, and then the 1 Spright Red, and the 1 Spright Carrot for the rest of the Spright engine. The biggest weakness, I would say, in the deck is just trying to fit everything together, but you're mostly just running the engine components for the Spright and Runick decks. So having your Spell Searcher with Spright Jet, and then your monster and spell and trap negators with Spright Carrot and Spright Red, which can be summoned off of the cards like Gigantic Spright also. And then also the 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring to finish off the monster lineup in the main deck. I even considered taking out the hand trap option, but if I was going for more of a competitive route, I wanted to keep them in. Otherwise, I would try putting in some of the other Agent 1-ofs to run in the deck, including the Evil Venus counterpart, to run as a 1-of spot here, and then maybe even an original, Hyperion as well in the deck for all these 1-of spots that you could potentially take out for the Ash Blossoms. Moving on now to the spells, I run the 3 copies of the Sacred Waters in the Sky. Activate 1, the Sanctuary in the Sky, directly from your deck, or add 1 monster that mentions the Sanctuary in the Sky from your deck to your hand. Then if Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field or in the graveyard, you can gain 500 life points for each Hyperion and agent monster you control. And if your monster that mentions the Sanctuary in the Sky will be destroyed by battle, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So it's protection and search power for the 1-of spell that we're running as well, just to gain the additional bonus effects of our other agent monsters that we run in the deck, including our Neptune and our Earth as well. And then for the Runick lineup, I'm also running the 3 copies of Runick Tip for our Runick card searcher, being able to add some of the other cards from our deck to our hand as well, and the 3 Flashing Fire for the special summon option of our Hugin. You have the search power and then the summon power, and then additionally the 2 copies of Runick Fountain, which I believe this card is going to be hit on the ban list, and if that does happen, I will be swapping around some of the numbers as well. But this could also be a potential spot if you wanted to run more of the quick play spells for the Runick lineup. You could also potentially take Ash Blossom or Infinite Impermanence out for more copies of some of the lower numbers for those cards to have different numbers to use for the recycle power of Runick Fountain. And then also the 2 copies of Spright Starter. This is another card I think may go to 1. But once again, if the deck list does change, this is just what I've been running for the deck. So those changes can be made in the future when I do an update to the video. Just another special summon option for the deck in the form of this quick play spell, with the last of the main deck cards being for the traps, the 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence for the hand trap option along with Ash Blossom. But this is more of a combo first turn setup deck. So once again, hand traps could potentially be taken out just for more of the cards needed to start some of your combos. Moving on now to the extra deck, I run the 1 copy of Master Flare Hyperion and the 1 copy of the Executor of the Underworld Pluto. Most of the time you'll summon Pluto when you use your level 3 option, which is your Creation Venus, and then also the additional summon of Agent of Mystery Earth. Another way you can summon out the Agent of Creation Venus is by using cards like Neptune to special summon it down to the field while keeping your Earth for your normal summon to get that additional search of that monster. And then having the option with your Master Flare Hyperion being a level 10 monster to summon out with Earth, and then your Majesty Hyperion on the field, and just needing a tuner and a non-tuner fairy monster as well to summon it out, and sending an agent monster or 1 monster that mentions Sanctuary in the Sky from your hand deck or extra deck to the graveyard until the end phase of this turn. This card name becomes that monster's original name and replaces this effect with that monster's original effect. So another way to make use of cards like Venus. If you send Venus, then you can use Master Flare Hyperion to copy the effect, and then use this card to pay the life point cost to get Shine Balls out that way as well, and then using your Executor of the Underworld Pluto, which is also regarded as an agent monster, to banish a monster from your graveyard to target an effect monster to the field and change it to face down defense, which you can also send off of Master Flare Hyperion if you wish as well. And then also the 1 copy of Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon. Now this can be used to summon back Earth onto the field, which is a level 2 tuner, and then being able to use that monster to then go into Baron de Fleur, and the 1 Cupid Pitch as well with the level adjustment for another way to use some of our level 2 monsters to make this card a level 6 tuner, and then use one of our non-tuner level 2 monsters to then go into Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon as well. And then the 2 copies of Gigantic Spright for our Only Exceeds monster in the deck. More extension for our special summon plays as well for this monster to then just summon out any level 2 monsters that we want. Having the option for our agent monster, if we have means to special summon it back from the graveyard, if we have cards like Neptune in our hand, make it one of the targeted plays. Just remember you won't get your search since you have to normal summon Earth to get your search. And then also the 2 copies of Hugin for our special summon targets for our Runick quick play spells, and then the option to search out our field spell as well. And then for the Link monsters, 2 copies of Protector of the Agent's Moon. Needing 2 fairy monsters, if it's Link Sun, you can send 1, the Sanctuary in the Sky, or 1 card that mentions it from your deck to the graveyard, or Sanctuary in the Sky is already on the field or in the graveyard. Add 1 Agent of Mystery Earth from your deck or graveyard to your hand instead. And you can tribute 1 fairy monster, then target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. You can only use each effect of Protector of the Agent's Moon once per turn. So another thing that's great about Hugin is it is also a fairy monster, which means it can be used to summon out Protector of the Agent's Moon as one of the needed fairy monsters to summon it. And then also the 1 copy of Spright Sprint for more graveyard setup of our sending of our level 2 monster from the deck to the graveyard, the 1 IP Masquerena, and then the 1 Nightmare Unicorn, and the 1 Apollosa to finish off the extra deck and our Link monster lineup. As for some of the go-to plays in the deck, as I said before, it all comes down to what you can set up in your hand to begin with. If you have one of your Spright monsters along with your Agent of Earth, you can normal summon out your Agent of Mystery Earth, use the effect of this card to add an Agent monster from your deck to your hand. So then you can use Earth to add Neptune to your hand, then go for the special summon of your Spright monster with summoning out your Spright Jet. Jet will then allow you to add your Spright card. That is a spell to your hand, so you'll add Spright Starter. You can then activate Spright Starter. Just remember, if you use this card immediately for this card, you won't be able to special summon for the rest of the turn, except for rank, link 2, or level 2 monsters. So you can even save that if you want for the time being. You then have the option for your summon to then go into the additional monster being a level 2 target. For the summon, you could go for the Gigantic Spright play as well, or even going for more of the setup of your monsters on the field. Remember, you need the fairy monsters to summon out your Agent of Moon for that play, but you could go for the Gigantic Spright overlay with this card and then activate its effect, detaching off of it the Agent of Mystery Earth, and then using your Gigantic Spright to summon 1 additional fairy monster onto the field, which you can then use your Agent of Mystery Earth that you summon from the hand, then using the card you searched off of Earth, discarding the Neptune to the graveyard to then summon out the 2nd copy of Earth, going for a link 2 using both of these copies of Earth on the field to then summon out your Protector of Agent's Moon, since remember, once again, you're locked into the link 2 plays, but luckily Protector of the Agent's Moon is a link 2 monster. Then you can send 1 Sanctuary in the Sky or 1 card that mentions it from your deck to the graveyard, so then you could potentially set up some of your other agent cards like the Majesty Hyperion in the graveyard for the special summon of another Neptune the following turn as well with this card, and then also being able to add 1 Earth additionally if the Sanctuary in the Sky was already on the field for this card as well. Then you can tribute a fairy monster, target a card your opponent controls, and destroy it. But that is one of your earlier setups for the deck. One of the other ones that works a lot better for the setup is if you have the setup with your Agent of Mystery Earth and then the 1 copy of your Runick spell of choice. So then, summoning out Earth to the same play before to add your Neptune to your hand. Then you'll activate your Runick tip with this one, just skipping your battle phase, but then you can summon out your Hugin, activate Hugin for the discard, so it could just be 1 other random card in your hand, to then search out the spell of the Runics, being your field spell, adding that card to your hand. And then from there, you can go for the same setup for your 2 Runick monsters, needing the 2 fairies, meeting the requirements for your Protector of the Agent's Moon as well. You have the Neptune in your hand as well. So with that play, you have the option then when your Moon is link summoned to send 1 Sanctuary of the Sky or 1 card that mentions it from your deck to the graveyard. So then with the same setup as before, but with not the level 2 restriction, you can send the Majesty Hyperion to the graveyard, and then you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard by banishing one agent monster from your hand, field, or graveyard. So then you can use your Majesty Hyperion to then banish your agent monster of choice. For this card, being able to then add the special summon play off of the discard would make it all the better if it were an agent monster for that banish, but you could banish the earth monster as well for that summon of this monster onto the field, or you could even banish your Neptune from your hand, giving you the additional search of the Sanctuary of the Sky after summoning out your Majesty Hyperion onto the field as well, protecting your fairy monsters along with the optional tribute of your moon on the field as well for that added option. And then it also comes down to what other monsters you may have controlling the Link 2 monster for the additional special summon of any of your Sprite plays before you go into the Link 2 play can give you more search to extend any of the combos you may want it to go into. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Like I said, it was just a crazy idea for a deck using the consistency from the Runick and Spright decks, along with the agent monsters we have received from the Ghosts from the Past 2 booster set. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira, Twig out.